Hello, welcome to the Craft Table Podcast. My name is Tori. You can reach me or see what I'm working on Instagram or the Making app at the Craft Table Podcast. And if you would like to email me, you can email me at thecrafttablepodcast@gmail.com. Today I have a little bit to share with you. I have gotten a little bit of progress done. Also, you can see little Mio. There's a Bean over here and a Maggie, so Maggie you won't see, but Bean you might see in a second. Or you might hear them crunching. I have their food behind me on different levels, so you might hear a little bit of crunch, and I apologize for that. I did turn off all of my fans because it is so hot here that you would have heard the tiny floor fan and the window unit going. So I've turned those off for the meantime, so if you hear any noises, I apologize. But I do have quite a bit to share this week, so I'm kind of excited, and I'll just go ahead and jump right in. I, as always, have been working on my hand-spun test knit. I was getting very, very nervous that I wouldn't be able to finish it by the middle of June. I'm still nervous, but not nearly as nervous. I think I actually have a chance now to finish and make the test knit, so to speak. Let me just grab it. I went ahead and bound off the body. So let me just show you what that looks like real quick. It's a little unwieldy with how big it is, so hold on, please. I did start on a sleeve as well. So we've got a little bit going, not a whole lot. I do want to share that I've stopped spinning the fin fleece for this. I actually gave it away to someone within the woolen spinning community that I'm a part of. And it's going to a good home, so I'm happy about that. I just was not finding any joy in it anymore, and I have moved on to spinning my Cormo, and the Cormo has shades of gray in it that match the fin. And so I've actually started processing the Cormo to knit for the test knit. I do have a few things about the test knit that I'm going to give feedback to the designer on, but I am a small statured, larger person. I am plus size, but I am 5'2". Oh, there's a Bean. And that means my proportions are a little... Oh, I'm so sorry. They're going to play now. But my proportions don't match what I think the designer was going for in the pattern. If I continue to knit as if I were that kind of proportioned person, I would be swallowed by the sweater, like completely swallowed, and it would not be something that I would wear, I don't think. So I have actually removed some repeats in the body. I'm not sure how well this will go over once I describe what's going on with the test knit. I'm not sure really how test knits work and what is acceptable modification to no modification. Like, I'm just not 100% sure. I think it's really dependent upon the designer, but the size would have been humongous, and I knit to gauge. So I don't know if it's just because of my hand spun that it became humongous. Like, grist is a factor too that I just don't really fully understand or know, so I didn't really factor that into making the yarn for this project. But it's huge, and I did lose a little bit of weight, but not a lot of weight to where this cardigan would swallow me whole. And so it's just a few inches of extra positive ease. So I really think it comes down to the proportions. Like, I'm not very wide in the shoulders. And the designer is wider in the shoulders, so I don't know if that's a factor. I also don't have a long torso, so when it's cropped on one person, it actually would have been a full-length sweater for me. So that's where the issues are. And then the arms, I don't have large arms when it comes to like my overall size, and I also have shorter arms because I am a shorter person, and I'm worried the sleeves are going to be ginormous on me still. So even with the more rapid decrease than other patterns I've seen in the past, I've knit in the past, so I might have to do something with the sleeves, so we'll see. But I'm kind of like, I'm enjoying the process. I don't know if I'm enjoying the process. I think it's really interesting to test knit. I don't know if I will test knit again because I feel like this is a lot of pressure that I don't really have the capacity to take right now in my current like state and what's going on in my personal life. So I think it was a little optimistic or overextended myself when I signed up for the test knit, but hopefully I will get it done. I am enjoying at least processing the Cormo and then spinning it and seeing it knit up. That's been really interesting. So, I mean, I don't think it's a bad design. I just don't think, I think I'd have to really look at the pattern to figure out a better fitting size, or maybe to do some modifications like I've already done to get it to fit properly the way that the designer intended. Otherwise, right now, it's just a cropped, oversized sweater on me, the way that I've been knitting it, and that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. I like oversized cardigans that are cozy, but not overly oversized. So, like, I don't know. I just have feelings about it, and I think it's more to do with, like, my own feelings with my body rather than the test knit and just, like, learning how to make clothes for this body. It's not anything to do with the pattern. It's more of like, oh, I'm learning that there are certain things that I need to do or the pattern should be like for me for the way that my body currently is. So it definitely is not a fun learning experience during a test knit when you're supposed to knit to the T and tell the designer, hey, this did or did not work, or hey, this is great, or hey, whatever. So hopefully the feedback that I'm able to provide is useful or helpful in any way to the designer, especially as a plus size person who doesn't fit the a short plus size person, I should say. A short plus size person who does not fit the proportions of the pattern. So that's that. I rambled a little bit on it. I'm hoping that I'll get it done, at least one of the sleeves done by the end of the week, and then move on to the second sleeve next week, and then hopefully have the button band done before the midweek. I think June 10th is when she wants the test knit to end, so I've really got to like bust my ass and get going. But I have been knitting on something else in the meantime while I've been waiting for skeins to dry and things like that. I went ahead and I have hand spun from when I was still spinning on my spindle. Oh no, okay. Sorry, I have a big basket of things next to me and it's got all of my stuff. So it's kind of like a precarious little pile there. But I started spinning a year ago, a little over a year ago, a year and a half, on a spindle. That's what I learned on. And so I made this skein of 2-ply BFL non-superwash, 100% BFL. It's a fingering weight. Yeah, it's a fingering weight yarn, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it because it was just a single skein. But I purchased when one of my local yarn stores had a like shop sale in the summer last year, and I bought 3 skeins of this Patagonia. No, it's not Patagonia. It's I'm forgetting the yarn, but it's a rustic non-superwash merino, and it's heathered, and I don't know if you can really see that. You kind of can. You can kind of see the reds in this brown. And so I figured it would I would have enough, not for a sweater for me, but for a sweater for my best friend's baby, who is very tiny. So this is a sweater that won't fit for at least another year, because I'm knitting the smallest size, which is a toddler size, and the little thing is only a year old, so a little ambitious. But I figured if I start now, it'll actually be done by the time it can be worn by the kid in question. So I've just started, just barely. The color work, you can't really see it, it's just the antennas so far. Oh, I should say this is the Magic Beetle Magic or Magic Beetle pattern by Katie Greenbean. She has a podcast called the Greenbean Podcast, and it is a really fun pattern. I'm really enjoying it. I've never really knit for a baby or a kid in general, and so this quick, I was like done with the short rows already. Like, it's insane. It's like a tiny hat. It's so easy. It's been really interesting. I need to put it on bigger needles. As you can see, it's pretty bunched up, so you can't really get a good picture of how large it is or how well my floats are. But I'm looking forward to it. This is a pattern that I wanted to knit for myself as a cardigan, so this is just like a test run of this pattern for myself, as well as just being a really cute sweater for my friend's kiddo. And she herself is a knitter, so I know that she knows how to take care of things, and that if I make this out of non-superwash, it's not the end of the world, and she knows how to take care of it. I am hoping that, I don't want to say the kiddo's name just in case, just for my friend's family's privacy, but I don't know if she's allergic to wool or anything like that, so this will be a fun experiment. If not, no worries. If it doesn't work out, I'm sure it'll find a home somewhere else. But that's what I've been working on in between prepping wool, waiting for it to dry, making skeins, waiting for that to dry, because I'm making yarn as I use it. So it's a slow process, but this past weekend, which was Memorial Day weekend, I was able to sit down and get quite a bit started and finished, and I have a whole stack of cleaned fiber to go through and card now, as well as a few batlings still in my basket down here beneath me to spin up. So I'm in a good spot, I think. We'll see. I'm hoping I'll get that done. But in between all of that, I've been working on this little baby sweater, which has been very enjoyable. I haven't been working on anything else. I do have the sock that I showed you last week or the week before. I can't remember if I showed it to you last week. But I do have that sock. It is sitting in my basket over here. I haven't touched it just because the smaller needles are hurting my hands on the test knit, and the sock needles are even smaller, so it's just been a little difficult to jump between those projects. So the sock is sitting off to the side, ready to be picked up once I finish my test knit. Once I finish my test knit, I have quite a few things that I want to start or finish up, start or finish up. So, like, I have a colorwork sweater for myself, which is turning out to be humongous, but it's really pretty, so I think I'm gonna stick with it and just call it a day. And then I have the baby colorwork sweater and my socks, and I have some yarn wound up for other projects. So I'm kind of just waiting to get the test knit done to really just relax into my crafting again. I haven't really crocheted much either, so I'm not sharing any of that with you this week. I haven't done any quilting, hand quilting. That has been on the back burner with this test knit because it's such a slow craft and it takes up so much of my time that it's just not feasible to also English paper piece and do this test knit with the deadline coming up. So that's what I've kind of been doing. I did have something come in the mail that I've been waiting for. I will start with the yarn though because it's on top. I told you a couple weeks ago that my mushroom yarn came in that I purchased, and I've already caked up the mini skein and main color skein. It's just really pretty. I don't know if the purples are coming out as well as I'd like it to on camera, but like this main skein has so many beautiful lavenders and golds in it that I'm really looking forward to using this in a hat pattern. I want to knit the Strya with this set. I think it'd be really pretty, and I do not have the tag for this. I already took it off, so my bad, but it is from Coast to Coast Yarn Company. She did a huge mushroom pre-order of her Mushroom Club colors from I think like last year or something like that. I happen to have fallen down the rabbit hole when I saw Hello Lavender doing a collaboration with her, so that's how I found this out. This is the second set, which is the Brittle Gill sock set. So it's very similar colors to the last set that I picked up. I think that might be the Polypore set. I think that might be it. But the Brittle Gill has very similar tones. It's just more brown than purple and tans instead of the purples. So this one is destined to be socks. I already know the sock pattern. I just am going to get my Kia socks done first before I start this set. But it is 400 yards, 100 grams, and then the full skein. And then the mini skein is 92 yards, 20 grams, 2 ply fingering weight, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And the mini colorway is called Cortinarius. I think I'm saying that right. It is dyed in Kansas because it's from Coast to Coast Yarn Company. It is very, very soft yarn, very bouncy yarn. I am looking forward to making objects with these guys. I am not a hat person, but with the colder weather this past year, I wished I was a hat person. So I'm actually gonna make myself a hat. And I did a inventory of all of my hand knit socks, and it's actually not a whole lot. So I want to make more hand knit socks for me because I like to wear them. They're one of my favorite things, and I now work from home. So this is something that will become a permanent thing in my wardrobe. So I'm really excited. I really love these colors. They're very fun. I would suggest purchasing from Coast to Coast Yarn Company, but she is currently still in the middle of oh my goodness, let me start over. She is currently working on fulfilling these orders, so she's still dyeing for this, and she's not going to be dyeing any more of the mushroom colors after this, from my understanding. She also just started a podcast, so if you just look up Coast to Coast Yarn on YouTube, you'll find it, and I don't remember if she talks about this or not, but her colors are really pretty anyways, and the fact that she loves mushrooms, I am down to buy more yarn from her in the future. There was actually some bases that I wanted to purchase from her, but I knew that a sock set or two would be more in my budget, as well as being stuff that I would use, because I really love knitting socks and wearing socks. So yeah, although this sock set, I can't get the colors to look good. It's not picking up the purples. but this one is destined to be a hat, so I'm looking forward to that. Next, let me just put this over here next to me. The next thing and the last thing that I purchased a million years ago. Not a million years ago, I'm just exaggerating now. But I purchased it a hot minute ago, and it took a minute to get to me because it was coming from Dubai. Did not realize that when I purchased it, but it is the Wild Juniper Fiber Company's resin loom, lap loom. So it's really, really pretty. It's got these gorgeous flowers in the resin and these beautiful colors. And then with it comes this little comb. And everything has her name in it, and it's really, really beautiful. I cannot wait to do any kind of weaving. That's something else that I plan to pick up once I finish my test knit. I really want to learn how to weave, and I felt like a beautiful lap loom would encourage me to do that, and her stuff just screamed to me, and I was like, I'm not gonna get it. I just will let someone else get this, because she only did 2. Almost dropped that. She only did 2 sets of this, the loom and the comb, and I just kept thinking, do I want this? Yes, of course I do. Is it necessary? No, but it was half the cost of a table loom, but I don't know if I want to commit to a table loom, and a lap loom would give me a chance to do like small cute things and kind of learn the basics of what weaving is. I also didn't think I'd ever weave. Like I never thought I would spin, and here I am very curious about weaving thanks to Woolen Spinning and Felicia from Sweet Georgia. Yeah, Sweet Georgia. She does an Take Back Friday episodes on YouTube, and she talks a lot about her weaving too. And so that kind of got me curious, so I ended up purchasing it. I have not really purchased stuff like that for myself since then, but I did want to share with you the beautiful loom when it came in. This could be a piece of art, honestly. It is a piece of art, but it's just so pretty that I know that I'll be using it. I really like pretty tools. It's why I bought the wheel that I did, because it's pretty and it speaks to me, so to speak. So I did buy my spinning wheel that way, so I'm not shocked that I purchased a lap loom that way. There's plenty of more affordable and more feasible, not feasible, but definitely more beginner friendly looms than the one that I picked up. And if you really are that curious, I would recommend it, but I just couldn't say no. I could not say no. It's just so pretty, and I purchased it, and it's finally come in, and it's beautiful, and I cannot wait to warp this and start weaving. I think it'll be really fun, even if like my first project will probably just be a little coaster or something, just to get me understanding how this works. Let me think. That's it. I don't have anything else to share. I don't have anything else to really talk about. I am just kind of plugging along quietly in the background and trying to get this test knit done. So hopefully once I'm done, I can stop talking about it. But until then, you get to hear about it every week. Only a couple more weeks, but we'll see. The goal is to try and get that done. I would be curious, though, to know what other people think about test knits, and if they've done test knits. I am curious to know if they've run into designers who are accepting of modifications or feedback regarding plus sizes of knitting patterns, just because, or test knits rather. Same thing. Sorry. My brain is going 100 miles a minute and my mouth is just not able to catch up. But I am curious to know other people's experiences with this particular kind of test knitting. I haven't really knit a pattern before where the proportions, that's not true. I've knit one other pattern and I never wore it and I ripped it out. But I've never, outside of that pattern, this is the first time I'm like really experiencing knitting for my body and what that looks like, and that's really interesting to me. I'd be curious to know if anybody else has done some massive modifications or has to do massive modifications for just your knitting patterns and stuff. I don't sew yet, and I know sewing is a great way to also make modifications for yourself. So I know it's a thing in the crafting world. I just don't see a lot of people talking about it, especially larger bodies talking about it on Instagram or just in general on YouTube. So I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say. Other than that, I'm pretty much done. I'm just gonna go back to plugging away at my test knit and hopefully getting more done with that tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, that you had a great weekend if you celebrated Memorial Day, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.